The second round of the series, contrastingly, brings us to the Euro circuit of Valkenswaard in the southern part of the country near Eindhoven. Mickael PICHON, leader of the championship after the first round. Number 9, James DOBB, lying 7th in the series, 4th, of course, behind PICHON in the 250cc Grand Prix of 2002. And something of a find, Brian Jorgensen, proving that he can ride anything, and that 450cc Honda, 5th place from a poor start in Spain. Gordon CROCKARD, number 19, number 7, Pit Byra, 1 is Mickael PICHON. He's fastest, ahead of Stefan EVERTS in qualifying, and the birthday boy of 7 days earlier, just turned 34, Joel SMETS on the 450 KTM. But as the gate drops, number 6, Marnicq BERVOETS is caught stalled on the line. A furious BERVOETS left on the line, but even worse news for Gordon CROCKARD, because he is fetched down on the inside of the second turn and suffers a nasty shoulder injury. BERVOETS still trying to get started, so he will have a desperate time trying to get that Rinaldi Yamaha back up with the pack. BERVOETS belatedly sets off, but far worse, Gordon CROCKARD has been brought down heavily in the fast second turn and suffered extensive shoulder damage. At the front, EVERTS leads, but it's the teenage sensation from Suzuki, number 43, Kevin Strijbos, heading his team leader in second and third places, with Claudio Federici in fourth. Federici proving that some Italians can ride sand. Michele Rinaldi, the mentor and team boss of Stefan EVERTS, always used to say it belonged only on a beach. Kevin Strijbos, he loves the stuff, but Gordon CROCKARD, he won't be liking it right now. A really nasty shoulder injury for the Croc star spells the beginning of a troubled season for the great Ulsterman. Battle for second place between the two Suzukis. Mickael PICHON already disproving the fact that Frenchmen struggle in sand. He looks to be enjoying himself and will be on confident form after that victory in Spain. Stefan EVERTS, you would almost expect to take off in sand. He truly is a master of this sort of going. So many Belgian tracks, of course, are sandy. Kevin Strijbos, looking over his shoulder, finds Mickael PICHON and Pit Byra. Byra a bit wild in sand, but hanging on. And Hitoshi Atsuta, brilliantly in 6th place on the circuit on which he broke his femur just 12 months earlier, past Honda's British-based former Japanese champion. So a brilliant start for Hitoshi Atsuta. To come back here and ride as bravely as this, that is quite something. The track, of course, not yet chopping up much. It'll get rougher as the day wears on. Stefan EVERTS leads. The Belgian flag's already waving for the 6-time world champion. And in a position like this, you may just expect him to run away with the race. Just look at the style of the man. Poised, head forward, feet pinned to the pegs. And he's looking good. Behind him, Kevin Strijbos, impressive stuff from the former European 80cc champion, while Marnicq BERVOETS muscling round the second of the 450cc Yamahas. He's trying to make up ground. PICHON looking for a way past Strijbos, weaving first to the left and then to the right. Always so good at finding alternative lines when he needs them. Cuts across inside his relatively inexperienced teammate, and Kevin has to give best. Two Suzukis together, and the third factory Suzuki of Sven Breugelmans up into 10th place. A great comeback by the man who broke his leg 14 months ago at the Hawkston Park International. Strijbos now third, coming under pressure. Pit Byra number 7, off the back of a dominant display in the opening round of the KWS International British Masters Championship Series down at Matcham's Park in Hampshire. Rough and ready going when he blew away his teammate Jamie DOBB, amongst others. And showing up strongly in 4th place in this race after finishing down in 8th place in Spain. Byra, of course, still getting used to the factory 250cc KTM. A problem that doesn't bother number 1 Mickael PICHON into his 4th season with Sylvain Gabor's Suzuki Grand Prix outfit. Federici 5th, Joel SMETS after a bad start, charging in 6th place ahead of Gundersen, Jorgensen, and the second of the Motorex Kawasaki's of Australian Andrew McFarlane. EVERTS still leads. Surely he can get away from PICHON, but PICHON is looking so cool, stylish, calm, not rushing. And in stark contrast, Stefan EVERTS is really working hard on the Yamaha. The contrast also in lines. Mickael PICHON able to keep it really tight with the Suzuki. And inch by inch, edging in on the leader. Frank Schroyen, mechanic and long-standing sidekick to Mickael PICHON, getting excited in the Suzuki camp. He can see the gap closing between the leader and his man PICHON. Still hooning along in third place, the second Suzuki of the fair-haired Belgian kid, Kevin Strijbos, number 43. Behind him, Pit Byra, unable to close the gap and coming under pressure himself. From number 3, Joel SMETS on the mighty 450 KTM. 34 years young, still giving it everything. SMETS, of course, didn't start racing until he was 17. His parents couldn't afford it before then. And that was on a 490cc open-class Yamaha. He's loved open-class bikes ever since. And here he has his teammate Pit Byra glancing anxiously over his right shoulder. He can probably hear that 450 KTM right there behind him. SMETS, another master of sand, comes up alongside the German, trying to cut inside him, brakes hard over the whoops, dives downhill. Pit Byra's left open the barn door. Joel SMETS is through and roosting him in good measure. SMETS now through to fourth place. Remember, he finished second in Spain, so he's currently second in the championship. And at the front, Mickael PICHON, inch by inch, clipping away at the advantage of Stefan EVERTS. Sideways into lap 8, Stefan EVERTS on the gas, and Mickael PICHON looking at this, he isn't hanging around either now. He wants that lead. A real clash of the giants here at Valkenswaard. This magnificent Grand Prix circuit, which was first used back in 1974 when victory went to the great Sylvain Gabors, who is now the Suzuki Grand Prix factory team boss. And his number 2 rider, Kevin Strijbos, is coming under pressure now from Joel SMETS. The Flemish Lion blasts past the 18-year-old Suzuki starlet into third place. Jamie DOBB is in 9th place ahead of Christian Burnham. Sven Breugelman slipped back to 11th ahead of Stuart Nunn. And the Motor X Kawasaki of Andrew McFarlane with Yoshi Atsuta after that bright start back in 14th place. At the front, the battle royal continues. PICHON attacking EVERTS. This noisy, huge crowd at Valkenswaard gripped by this duel. The open class world champion of 2002 against the 250cc world champion of 2002. Who is going to come out on top? PICHON was the man in Belpuy. EVERTS at the moment is the leader here in Valkenswaard. But look at PICHON finding those smooth lines, riding almost the rim of the track, and Pit Byra's gone down big time across one of the huge jumps back into the arena here at Valkenswaard. The 30-year-old German looks around a little bit dazed, perhaps wondering what's happened there, and that was a big off. Frank Schroyen, okay is what he's got on the board, which means you just need to maintain the pressure. Keep it there. You've got him in the palm of your hand, or have you? Marnicq BERVOETS goes down. BERVOETS has had a clash with a passing Honda, and BERVOETS, making that desperate recovery, is letting the lad know what he thinks of him. Coming absolutely from the back after stalling on the start line. Carlo Rinaldi can't believe the misfortune of his number 2 rider, but he's also focused very much on the fortunes of his number 1 rider, Stefan EVERTS. Just a bike length between him and PICHON. This is the battle for supremacy in the Motocross Grand Prix World Championship Series of 2003. PICHON just taking a look up the inside. Amazing performance by PICHON to put such pressure on Stefan EVERTS in the sand. We think of Stefan as being virtually indestructible in this sort of going. PICHON matching him every foot of the way, but Stefan not giving up on it. The back end of the Yamaha kicking high. Suzuki again looking for those extreme lines that take him off the braking bumps, finding the smooth route. If indeed there is one here at Valkenswaard, looking for the inside line now. Everts on the wide sweeper, had the speed, had the corner speed to cut him off. How long will PICHON be willing to swallow that dirt? On the right of that photograph, Mickael Rinaldi, the legendary Italian who was their first Motocross Grand Prix world champion back in 1984. Riding, of course, for Suzuki. The fists flying, the flags flying, the riders flying. Tension in the pits. Joel SMETS in third place now, clear of Kevin Strybos. But after his slow start, the four-time Open World Champ won't be able to make it back to the leaders. PICHON shrieking that Suzuki over the big jumps. And that extra flickability allowing him to close right down with 10.5 minutes to go under the back wheel of Stefan EVERTS. Broadside together. Back down the start straight. Still Stefan EVERTS holds on at the front. Oh, and a moment there. Oh, and a huger moment for Stefan EVERTS. First PICHON, then EVERTS, absolutely broadside, colliding as they go into the sweeping left-hander. But EVERTS still keeps it on. He comes back on the inside. Oh, can't quite make it. They collided then. PICHON looked round, wondering what it was. EVERTS takes him out into the berm. Good and hard. This is absolute warfare between the two reigning world champions. Side by side, a wonderful move by PICHON. He puts himself onto the grass virtually to nip inside the Yamaha and finally grabs the lead of Stefan EVERTS. Can he make it stick? Breathtaking stuff here at Valkenswaard, the second round of the Motocross Grand Prix World Championships. And the first round winner, Mickael PICHON, finally has the lead. Stefan EVERTS nearly leaping off the track and into the ditch on the left-hand side. That would have been pretty horrible for him. Demoted to second place. And suddenly sees the Suzuki sprint off to a 30-metre advantage in the space of a third of a lap. Mickael PICHON lost the World Championship to Frederick Bolle when he crashed and damaged his shoulder in 2000. Came back to win the 250cc World Championship in 2001 and 2002. Headed for his second consecutive victory in the new Motocross Grand Prix Championship, which has brought him head-to-head with Stefan EVERTS. Oh, confidence, absolute confidence. The Suzuki star on the gas at Valkenswaard, dominating this race. But we've got a problem for Stefan EVERTS. Stefan EVERTS is into the pits. Panic amongst the Rinaldi Yamaha camp, and I think they're replacing a wheel. So it's a problem with broken spokes for Stefan EVERTS, who was lying in second place behind PICHON. They've replaced the offending front wheel. They are replacing the offending front wheel. Joel SMETS motors through into an unexpected second place as EVERTS restarts. Front wheel on, EVERTS restarts. And now he's got some work to do. EVERTS will be desperate to claw back as many points as he can. Meantime, a problem for Joel SMETS as the plastic on the radiator of his 450 KTM begins to flap loose. But it's the last lap. Not too much time for him to muscle around that KTM to the checkered flag, which is being held out to welcome Mickael PICHON. He wins in Spain. He wins in Holland. Superb performance by the Frenchman. Second place for KTM's Joel SMETS. Again, the same as he achieved in Spain. And a somewhat disenchanted Stefan EVERTS crosses the line, back down in around 9th place behind Christian Burnham and Carl Nunn. Jorgensen, Federici, Gundersen, Strybos. A great 4th place for Kevin Strybos. But the winner, Mickael PICHON. 2 Grand Prix, 2 victories. In the championship, that means he has a 50-point maximum, with Joel SMETS second and Kenneth Gundersen creeping past the luckless Stefan EVERTS into 3rd place.